Welcome to part 2 of how to play the bass clarinet. We're going to start off first of all on talking about how to open the case correctly so that you don't have the instrument fall out and break and have problems. So let's just talk about the case. Here's my bass clarinet here. It's a bigger case, and there are some bass clarinets that come in smaller parts, and the cases aren't quite this big, but this one is a pretty good sized case. Just a couple keys to help you know how to open it. Number one, there's a logo right here, and that logo is almost always on the top of the case. Okay, if you look on the back side, there's no logo on the back side. So that's a pretty good clue that this is the top of the case. Another clue is that there's a handle here, and the handle is on the bottom side of the case. And with a lot of bigger cases like this, usually the bigger half is the bottom. It's not always the case, but in this situation it is. And so you want to set it on the floor before you open it up. Okay, I've got my case on the floor. It's so big, it just doesn't work to have it in your lap and try and open it up that way. So just put it on the floor. First thing you're going to do is take out the bell. This section here, it's called the bell. And then you're going to take out the main section. In this particular bass clarinet, it's just one piece. Okay? In some bass clarinets, they do come in two pieces. And if that's the case, then talk to me. There is a specific thing you need to do about getting the bridge keys to line up. But for this one, it's just the one. Put the bell on the end. This one is a newer one, and so I'm going to actually get some cork grease. Cork grease usually comes in a form of it looks like a chapstick. It's not chapstick. Don't use it for chapstick. It will not be nice. So you take some cork grease if you have a newer instrument and newer cork, and you just get a little bit on there. It just helps to help the bell slide on and stay on there. Mostly to slide on. So put that on there. Put the bell on. Just be really careful that you don't wrench any of the keys or smash any of the keys as you do this. It's easy to do, so you want to make sure that you don't use it that way. And then you line up this part of the bell where the end post goes in, which helps to hold it up, with the thumb rest. So I'm just going to turn it a little bit to line it up correctly. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is grab this little post here. This post has a big ball on the end. They don't all have one like that, but some do. You just put it in the end here and make sure that that's loosened so that it'll slide on. And then tighten it. And then you're going to take the neck, looks like this. You're just going to put that on there. Slide it in. You can twist a little bit to get it to go where it needs to. And this part, there's a little screw here. You just lightly tighten it. It doesn't have to be super tight, especially since I haven't lined it up quite up yet. And then you're going to take the mouthpiece, which is right here, and you're just going to put it in. And this is, again, a new instrument, so the mouthpiece may need some cork grease. For now, I'm just going to slide it on. And you just get everything lined up so that it's in line. Okay, and then you're about ready to go. Okay, now we have the bass clarinet all set up and it's put together the right way. The first thing you really should do as you're opening your case is to take your reed. Your reeds come in cases like this, and you just take it out of the case and you put it in your mouth. And sometimes I get the bottom wet and the top wet, and then I put it in my mouth. And then you just leave it there. I'm going to take it out so I can talk. But you just leave it in your mouth while you're putting your instrument together. And that's going to make it so it's going to be moist and wet, which helps it to vibrate correctly when you want to play. For now, I'm going to ask you a couple times to put your instrument together, get it set up, ready to go. I'm going to ask you to swab it out, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and then put it away, just as practice. And when you do that, you don't need to use your reed, which is why I forgot to tell you that at the beginning of it. But if you're going to get ready to play, you're getting ready to practice it and actually play it, or getting ready for band, then you're going to want to get that reed out, put it in your mouth, and get ready to go. When you're done using the reed, you always take it off of the clarinet, off of the mouthpiece, and put it back in a reed case. And we'll talk about reeds in a little bit, either this video or the next, and we'll talk about how some other reed care things. But for now, I'm just going to set that down here. So as you see, it's not quite tall enough for me as I sit tall. So that's an easy adjustment. You just loosen the little end pin, which is down here, right? Loosen this little screw up, and then you get it where you want it, and then you tighten it, and then it's ready to go, okay? And we'll talk a little more in the next video on how to hold it, where you put it on your mouth, and all that sort of thing, okay? So we'll talk about where your hands go and all those things. So once you have played and you're done playing, the thing you need to do is you need to swab it out, and you need to do that daily, or at least each time that you play it, because there's these pads on each of these keys, and the moisture inside your clarinet, the more you play it, it can start to affect it quite a bit. It can ruin those pads if they stay moist all the time, and you want to make sure you clean it out and that it doesn't get gross. So the way you do that is you have a thing called a swab. This is a swab here. It has a long string because it's a longer instrument. And what you do is the first thing you want to do is make sure you spread this out so that it'll collect as much as it can, and so that it doesn't get caught inside your clarinet. You don't want to stick it in there all crumpled up. I've helped kids get mini swabs unstuck, and sometimes they get stuck so much that I can't get it and they have to take it to a repair shop. Okay? So to use the swab, take your reed off first, put it away so it's done. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bell off, because you don't really need to swab the bell. It'll be fine. And you put the post away, and put the bell away. Again, you might just have to twist it just a little bit to get it to come off. And make sure you put these back in the case the way you found them, the way that they go correctly. It's really important. It's a great way to ruin an instrument, is to put it in the case incorrectly. Once you got the bell off, then you take this swab here, and you just drop it into the bottom here with that metal piece that's on the end of the swab first, because that's going to act as a weight and drop down there, so that it'll go all the way down to the end. Okay? And then you're going to take off the neck. And that little metal piece will come right out the end. See, there it is, sticking out. So you just take that, and then you just gently pull that swab through. Okay? And if you want to do that once or twice, that's fine. And then I'm also going to run it through this neck and mouthpiece, just to make sure that it keeps the mouthpiece clean. So it's a little trickier to get it through there, but because it's has a little bit of weight to it, it'll come through like that. And then you just gently guide this through, don't destroy it, and it'll go right through there. Okay? And that'll just wipe it out and clean it out. And if you do that at the end of your playing each day, then your instrument will stay nice and it won't get gross and disgusting inside. Okay? So once you do that, you're going to take your mouthpiece off, put the neck back where it goes in the case. There's a specific spot for it. The mouthpiece should have some kind of a mouthpiece cover that it goes into, and that helps it to dry and stay nice. And then you take the bass clarinet and you put it back in the case the way it goes. Make sure you put it back in there the right way, or else it will have problems. Okay, now then you take this swab here and you just kind of let it out. It won't be super wet, but it'll be a little moist. So just kind of fold it a little bit. Sometimes you can take this here and just wrap it around, just to keep it so that that string doesn't get too tangled up. Then you just put that in your case. You close your case, and you latch it up, and you're good to go. Now you should practice those things, just putting it together, getting it set up so it's the right height with the bass, and then swabbing it out and putting it away. You should practice that a couple times, because once we get to band, you're going to need to get it out quickly and get ready to play and be ready to play on time. And then at the end of class, you're going to need to pack it up and put away so that you can get to your next class on time. And both those things are important that you are able to do quickly, but also in a way that's not going to damage your instrument and you're not going to trip. And you just want to have a familiarity with doing that. And that will be really helpful. All right, well, thanks for watching. Join us for our next video, part 3, in which we'll show you how to do some more things with the instrument, how to hold it correctly, where to put your fingers, how to form your embouchure, and what that is, an embouchure. And we'll cover all that in the next video, and we'll see you on that one.